Okay, so you need to change out your sink basket. What I have done is I've already taken the nut loose on the back. Under here you can see there's the nut up there. I've taken that loose and that loose, and the big nut loose is over there is the one we're talking about. And I've got it out. I've already taken it. I've cleaned my ring, got everything nice and clean. Now I've taken my new strainer and I've worked up some plumber's putty. Plumber's putty comes in a container like that, plumber's putty. And you just take a blob of it out and you work it till it gets real pliable, real soft and smooth. And then you just work it around there like this. Okay. Now after you get it like that, you're going to take your basket and you're going to sit it down in the hole. I'm going to take this ring off here first. Here we go. I just took the other nut off the back up there. You're going to set your basket in the hole like that right there. Okay. Just kind of push down on it a little bit and you'll see that plumber's putty starting to come out of it there. Now, under the bottom, and this is a mistake a lot of people make, a lot of people will put that gasket on top, this gasket right here, on top. That's what this previous one right here did. And see all the crap under it? That's incorrect. This gasket is meant to go under the bottom against the pan, against the metal of the pan. Then there's a paper gasket there right behind it. That paper gasket goes on next, and then the actual retaining ring. The reason why the paper is there is so that the retaining ring slips on the black gasket, the black rubber gasket. Otherwise, it would push the black rubber gasket out of it when it started trying to tighten up. Always put the black gasket on the bottom. The reason why I tell you this is right now, if you'll see, this is not even mashed down yet. But if you'll see, it's already a little bit below the surface of this. It's already dropped down that indentation. But on this one over here, if you'll look, it's above the surface. So this sink stays, on this side you can see it real good, on this side you see it real good right there. This sink stands in water all the time. It never completely drains because it can't get over the rim here because it's in wrong. As to where this sink will completely drain when I'm finished with it, because this gasket, this will go down, the plumber's putty will push out, and it will be below this rim. It'll actually drop down and go into there. So this sink will completely drain. So next, under the bottom here, we're going to go right down here, and we're going to put this setup just like I got it right here. Slide it right in there. Open that up a little. Slide up in there, and as you can see, I've got my black gasket going right up against the base of the sink bottom, with a white paper gasket next. I guess I need to turn the phone where you can see it better. There we go. Well, it's kind of hard to do this one-handed while holding the phone, but we'll get it. Okay, there we go. All right, so black rubber gasket. You see some of the plumber's putty already pushing out on the bottom here. So we've got black rubber gasket, got a white wafer gasket, which is paper, and then our retainer ring. And we're just going to tighten this up. It's going to push all that plumber's putty. And the plumber's putty what actually makes a seal, and then of course the rubber gaskets on the bottom seals it. But here again, like I say, see how it's sliding right there? Can you see that sliding? The rubber gasket's really not even moving at all. It's just in the right place. And that's what the paper wafer's for, is to make that slide without causing problems with your rubber gasket and pulling it out. I don't know if you guys ever tightened up anything on a rubber gasket, but it'll usually just kind of go away on you. Okay, so now I've got the both the cups in, as you can see. You see how much stuff is squeezed out? It'll squeeze pretty much all of it back out, except for what it needs to fill that little pocket. And what I do is I kind of wiggle it around a little bit, just to make it give up the putty. And when you get the putty out of the way, you can see how your alignment is. And this putty's going to keep coming out for days ago. And you see that? I'm way up on this side and low on that side. Well, even though it's super tight, usually I can still push or pull it in the direction that I need to go. Alright. It's pretty close. So I got all putty all the way on that and where I could see what I was doing. And then I went back and moved it towards in the center of the pocket. There. You almost always have to do this. And that putty's going to keep coming out of there as you use the sink. The hot water is going to make it come out for one thing. And what I do is I just scrub it off each time it does it. You see this one again is a little further over this way than that way. So I'm going to push it with my thumbs until I get it about where it looks about like it's centered. You can kind of wiggle it like I'm doing right here. And see it's bedding down even more each time. And each time you do that, of course, you want to check your tightness underneath and pull it down some more. But if you'll look, you see how that's now sitting below. This is actually coming downhill to this rim here. There's no real gap for a bunch of crap to get in there either, because it'll be almost metal to metal by the time it's squeezed out all that putty, which leaves a pocket. Now there's a pocket of putty in there still, and there's putty coming out of the nut at the bottom. See here at the bottom, see that putty's coming out there? It's squeezing out itself at that place right there. So you get a good tight seal that way. So that's what you want. So here again, like I said, the washer does not go on the top, it goes underneath it. Okay, so now I'm doing a water test on it. And what I like to do is I like to fill up both bowls. And I usually do it with hot water because that gives it, lets some of that stuff flex out. And the reason why I'm doing that is, first off, is because I want to test the seal around here. And if the drain's open, you won't get a good test on that. So you need to test to see if your compartment is sealed good. And do the other side. And if you see, I've trimmed the stuff off. What I usually do is I just take a blade like this on a screwdriver, and I just run around that edge there, and it just kind of like cuts it off. And then I just keep doing it until I get it all gone. Like I said, but it's going to come out. Some more is going to come out of it. It'll be coming out for a while probably. You just keep squeezing it out. So we're going to fill up the 2 compartments, and then underneath it here we're going to check and make sure we have no leaks from the actual compartments, each one. Everything looks good so far. We'll turn that off. Now I do see there's some previous damage here in this, but I do see a new wet spot right there. Now frequently when you move plumbing around, sometimes you have to retighten something somewhere else. And it feels like it's coming out of this nut right here. Let's see, hopefully that'll take care of it. Alright, now we're still dry. Both sides, both bowls are holding good. So I'm going to dump bowl number 1, or the right hand side. And we're going to watch to see if we have any leaks in our pipes, because we had quite a few connections here moved around and everything. So we had one little drip here a minute ago. I've already tightened it up. Frequently when you move plumbing around, which we had to slide this whole thing out of the way to get the 2 cups in up there. Alright, that's the one. We dumped it and it's fine. No leaks anywhere. Let's dump the next one. And let's watch to see if we get any overflow leaks. Oh, yep, we got one right there. See it? It's right there at the brass nut. And just a fairly good one, looks like. might have forgot to tighten that up. No, it's the second nut. Is it this nut here is what's coming from? Let's see. Yeah, that one feels pretty good too. Okay, so I couldn't stop the leak on that one feeding. So when I can't stop one, my next thing is to take it apart and find out why. And apparently it had been leaking here before. I don't know if it was ever stopped. Now if you look at this, see this gasket right here? It's in backwards. It's in backwards. Not only is it in backwards, it's split. And that's probably the reason, because it's been in backwards. The bell, there's a bell cut in this right here. It's an angle. I don't know if you see it. I don't know if you can see it right there maybe. That gasket's supposed to be turned the other way and going in that bell cut. Supposed to be like that. Let's see, they've got it. They had it in backwards. See here, see how it goes in there now? It goes in that bell. And then this nut pushes it, and that's what seals it up. But when it's on backwards, it's very hard to ever get it to seal. They had that nut so tight trying to get that to seal. And what happens is it pushes it until it breaks it, and it broke it. And you will never get to stop leaking. So now I've got to take this joint loose so I can take this part out, which means I got to get something set on this trap right here. And pull that out, put that new washer in. Here's my new washer to go back in there. And of course we're going to put it the way it should be, going toward the bell. Okay, so got it all finished. Cleaned up and everything. As you can see, they're sitting way down in there. I've got most of the putty out, which it will come out again, like I said. But this is a pretty old sink, and I just sanded it real good and cleaned it real good. Put a new faucet on it. And the drains. So makes a pretty good look, I think. Thanks for watching.